Welcome. This week we're going to do Parshas Shoftim. The passuk says, "Kisovei la'oretz asher Hashem elokecha noisen lach." The land Hashem is giving to you, v'yirishta, you should conquer it, v'yishafta ba, and you should settle in it. V'amarta, and you're going to say, "Asima elai melech k'chol hagoyim asher tzvivaisai." I want to appoint a melech, a king, just like all the nations around me. So the passuk says, "Soim tosem alecha melech asher yivchar Hashem elokecha bai." So there's a mitzvah. There's a mitzvah of Soim tosem alecha melech asher Parshas. It's a mitzvah asher yivchar Hashem elokecha bai. Now, in Sefer Shmuel, we see that after they came into Eretz Yisrael, they went through the whole Tkufas HaShoftim. The last Shofet was Shmuel, and during his time, the people came to him and they asked him for a king because they were having trouble with Nachash HaAmoni, who was very aggressive, very threatening, and they said, "Soim tosem aleinu melech," and they said, "Please appoint a king for us." So Shmuel got very angry with them. And he said, "Why do you need a king? A king is going to make you all kinds of trouble. He's going to take he's going to draft your children, and he's going to take your money." And the Rebbeinu Shalom said to him, "Loi b'cha ma'asu, ela bi ma'asu." They didn't reject you; they rejected me. Because it says, "Ani malkam." The Rebbeinu Shalom is the melech. So the question is. What was wrong with what they did? There's a kingdom. They asked him for a melech. What was wrong with it? It's a mitzvah in the Torah. It's a mitzvah say. So some want to say that it's not really a mitzvah. It's only a rishus. But most of the Moedei mitzvahs count the mitzvah of Soim tosem alecha melech as one of the mitzvahs. So others say that they asked Shloika Hagen. They didn't say, "I want a melech," because of the mitzvah. They said, "K'chol hagoyim, I need a melech k'chol hagoyim." So the Barbanel asks, if the problem was that they asked Shloika Hagen, what happened for 400 years during the Kufas HaShoftim? Why didn't anybody ask Hagen? Why didn't Asliel ask Hagen? Yiftach, Shimshon, all of these Shoftim, why didn't they ask Hagen? They asked Shloika Hagen, okay, fine. But why during the Kufas HaShoftim did nobody ask Hagen? So therefore, he wants to say that it's a rishus. So this topic is very fundamental to understanding Sefer Shmuel, Sefer Malachim, to understand what went on in the Tkufas of Tanakh. What went on? So, the question is this. The first passuk says, "Kisovei la'oretz Hashem elokecha noisen lach, v'yirishta v'yishafta ba," and then Soim tosem alecha melech. So first you should conquer the land, and then you should settle it, and then you should appoint a king. Why is it in this order? If you're going to mitzvah to appoint a king, so you might as well appoint a king right away. And when you come in to conquer the land, you should have a king. And when you want to settle it, then you should also have a king. Why first do you have to conquer it, and then settle it, and then you have a king? There's another question. What happened when they asked for a king? So Shmuel gave them Shaul. Shaul was the first king of Eretz Yisrael. But it says in the Torah, "La Yosef Shevet Yehuda." A melech has to be from Yehuda. Shaul was from Binyamin. So how could Shaul be the king? So you could say he was a temporary king. But the passuk says that after he lost his melucha, when he didn't listen to Hashem with Mechias Amalek, so he says, Shmuel told him, "Ato hechen Hashem es malchuscha la'olam." If your malucha could have gone on forever, la'olam, But since you lost it, so you lost the Melucha. So you see that he would be forever. So how could it be? What's with the Yosef Shevet Yehuda? So the Ralbag wants to say that La'olam doesn't mean La'olam, it means for a long time. You would have been the Melech for a long time. But the Parshas of the passuk means that it would have been forever, it would have been permanent. So how could that be? How could Shaul be the king if there's a din of Yosef Shevet Yehuda? So getting back to this question, why V'yirishta v'yishavta ba? The idea of a melech, the idea of the mitzvah of Tzom Tosn Lech Melech, was not to have a melech who's going to be your executive director, is your executive, chief executive, your president, your political officer who's going to take care of the country. He'll mobilize the army, he'll put taxes. That was not the point. The point of a melech was that the melech should be a manig ruchni. The melech should be the one who's going to be like a rebbe, that his role would be to elevate the ruchnistic madrega of all the people. That would be, and to come to Hashlom and Avodas Hashem. That was the purpose of a melech. Now, the Tkufas HaShoftim, there was 400 years, and all the pasukim, and it says in the passuk, V'yom Ehem Ein Melech B'Yisrael Ish HaYosher B'Einav Yaseh. So what does this mean? So it's l'gnai, it's also l'shvach, that they could do whatever they want, and sometimes they did averis and they went after the goyim and they were over the avodah zarah. But it's also l'shvach. That what? The avodah of the Tkufas HaShoftim was to create a utopian society, a society that functioned without a government. That was the purpose. Why do you need a government? You need a government to control the people. But the avodah in the Tkufas HaShoftim was to have a society which is governed by the Torah. That's it, the Torah. You have a question what to do, you have a bezdin. You need municipal services, you'll have Zayin Tuva Yair. But you don't need a national government. You don't need it. What for? You're going to live a stable life, and you can learn Torah, you can do mitzvahs. Hashem will protect you. You don't need a government. So what happened, Kufas HaShoftim, was, and this was a preparation for Tzom Tosn Lech Melech, because if you would have a melech that when he comes in and is appointed melech, he has to be busy with all kinds of political and governmental issues, then that will corrupt him. He needs to be kulei Torah, kulei avodah. That's what a melech has to be. He should not be busy with the things that a normal melech is busy with. So in order to have such a melech, then first they have to be v'yirishta, first conquer the land. The king should not be involved in conquering the land. Use shaftaba, settle it, establish all the towns and the cities. The king should not be involved in that. And then, after you do that, and you establish a utopian society that's able to function over a period of time, and it doesn't need a president, it doesn't need a chief executive, then is the time to bring in a melech. That was the idea. That was the mitzvah. That was how it's supposed to be. So in the Kufas HaShoftim, most of in Sefer Shoftim, most of it is telling about what happened, that they followed these goyim and they did this avodah zarah, and then the Rebbeinu Shalom sent an enemy to attack them and to conquer them, and they did tshuva, and a shofet used to travel around, and he gave shmuzin and droshes, and he was ma'arid them to do tshuva, and once they did tshuva, they mobilized people from all the shvatim. They all came together like militias. They all came together, and they were able to chase out the enemy. And then the passuk says, "Arbaim shana shakta aretz." 40 years, everything was good. Those 40 years were the right idea. Those 40 years was Ein Melech B'Yisrael, Isha Yosher Bein of Yasa. Everybody did the right thing. Everybody lived like Erlich Eden. And that was very good. But it didn't last. Then they had another Yerida. They needed another Shofet. Then it says another place, Shmoinim Shana Shakta Aretz. So there were stretches during the Tkufas HaShoftim that they were able to accomplish this goal of creating a utopian society that is governed by the Torah and by the Rebbeinu Shalom. Ani Malkam. The Rebbeinu Shalom is the Melech. The people are controlled by the Torah. They don't need a government to control the people. But again, they failed. So what happened was that during the Kufas HaShoftim, everything was up and down. It was up and down. Some was good, and it was bad. Some was good, and then it was bad. So this idea, this goal of achieving a utopian society, they never created a stable utopian society. A utopian society that could endure and it could last for 100 years and just be stable. Everything was very unstable. So therefore, it was not time to bring in a melech. It was premature. So they didn't. None of the shoftim appointed a melech. Hasniel, Yiftach, Shimshon, Shamgar, all the great shoftim. Nobody established a melech because the society was not ready for it. But when they had a problem with Nachash HaMoini, then they needed a melech kechal hagoyim. They needed a melech who's gonna. They were not able to handle this type of an avodah where they're gonna try and they're gonna be good and then they're gonna go down and then they're gonna end up being vulnerable to all their enemies. They wanted to have a melech who's gonna organize the country and organize an army and be able to defend themselves. This was not good. This was not good. This is what Shmuel got angry about. And this is what the Rebbeinu Shalom says, Lo b'chama asu, elo b'ima asu. So what did the Rebbeinu Shalom do? He said, okay, fine, you need to organize, you can't self-organize, you can't have anarchy, meaning, not chaos, anarchy. Anarchy means a society without a government. That's a chaos means chaotic. Anarchy means no government. So the idea was to create an anarchy society that is able to function without a government, and that avoids all kinds of corruption and abuse and everything. And you have a utopian society, and it works well. And then the Melech will come in, and he will be the man Gruchni, and he will be Malad Madrig of the whole cloud. So what did the Rebbeinu Shalom do? He gave them Shaul. Now Shaul was not meant to be the man Gruchni. His appointment was not the fulfillment of the mitzvah of Soim Tassim Malach HaMelech. His appointment was to be the president. So therefore, since they couldn't handle it, so the Rebbeinu Shalom says, so let's have a dual melech. One melech will be in charge of all the departments of the government and all the agencies and the armies and the taxation. That's going to be one melech. This melech will be Shaul. When everything is stabilized under this melech, then we will bring in the melech who's going to be the man Gruchni. So Shaul Taki could have been La'ilam. He could have been always. Shaul's job would be to be the president, and his children would be also he'd be the political president, and there would be La'ilam, and his children, his grandchildren, all of them would have this role, this job, but they still would not have the man Gruchni. So what happened? Shaul failed. After a couple of years, then he failed. So the Rebbeinu Shalom said, okay, so now we have to appoint David. David was given the double job. David was to be the man Gruchni, and was also supposed to be the president. The society needed a president. So David was the political ruler, and he was also the man Gruchni. And David was fantastic. I mean, he was like, David HaMelech inspired everybody. He was very good. And for a couple of generations it worked. The Medrash says that at Nitzonim, near Basoda was the passuk, the Eis Hazami Regia, the Elu HaMelachim, Ela Malachim, David, Shloima, Rechavam, Aviyam, and Asa. So 5 generations we had Taka, a really the type of melech that we want, and some tas melech melech. But the appointment of David was premature, because ideally Shaul would have been melech for a number of years, and then he would have stabilized the country, and then you'd bring in David, and then his only job would be to be the Managruchni. But Lemaisa, since Shaul failed, so David had to be brought in, and given not only his job as the Managruchni, but also Shaul's job as being the political president of the monarch who is ruler of the country. So therefore he had to do both. So that was very difficult. So it lasted for a few generations, and afterwards the Melucha became corrupted. And the further Melachim became corrupted. If Shaul had lasted longer, maybe the result would have been better. Okay. Let's go a little bit further in the passuk. Rak li'arbelei susim, a melech should not have many horses. How many does he need for his chariot? I don't know, 4 or 6. He should not have more. V'yoshev, v'yoshev esam Mitzrayim, the people shouldn't go back to Mitzrayim to get horses came from Mitzrayim. So they wouldn't have to go back to Mitzrayim to get more horses for the king who needs a lot of horses. Leman harbe sus. So he shouldn't be marbe sus. So in the beginning it says, Rak li'arbelei susim, and the end it says, Leman harbe sus. Now what is the meaning of sus? Sus is also a plural. You look in Targum says, Liazagale susavon, and then it says, Azgale susavon. In both places it's a plural. But in Lashon Kodesh, anything which is a plural, which is below 10, is said in the Lashon Rabbim. If it's above 10, then it's B'Lashon Yachid. Arboim Shana Akud B'Doyer. Arboim Shana. 1. So that's the rule. You'll see it all over. If you go above 10, it's always B'Lashon Yachid. We spoke about this, I think, back in Parshas Vayigash or somewhere. I don't remember. So what's the pshat in the beginning Susim and the end Sus? Because the Melech, he has enough horses for his chariot. So maybe he has 6 horses for his chariot. So mainly he's going to send people to get him more horses. How many more does he need? He needs another 6. How many does he need? So they're going to get him susim. He's going to need more. The extra that he needs is going to be below 10. So li'arbelei susim, don't get more than the basic. And if you need more susim, then don't do that. Why? Because the people are going to go back to Mitzrayim, and they're going to see over there the markets of the susim, and they're going to end up buying many susim, and they're going to end up living there. So that's why. So it says that li'arbelei susim, because they're going to go there for a visit, and they'll get a few horses. It's not such a big thing. But the problem is that they're going to end up wanting to go into the sus business, and they're going to want to buy many susim, and then they're going to end up going back to Mitzrayim. So that's what it says, Leman harbe sus. That people are going to go to be marbe sus. Okay, now at the end of the parsha, you have the parsha of eglah arufah, that somebody has found the cholol, a dead person, out in the field, out of the city. So they measure and they figure out which is the closest city, and the kingdom of that city have to bring an eglah arufah, and they say, "V'onu v'amru yodeinu lo yishavchu es adam hazeh v'neinu lo yiro." We're not responsible for this. So Rashi says, what does this mean? V'chyolsa alev. What do you mean? These are the Zakanim of the Bezdin. They were Shofech Damim. Why do they have to defend themselves and they're not Shofech Damim? Ella, Loirayinu Patranu. We didn't see him and send him away below Mezainis without giving him food, or below Levaya, and without Levaya. So what's the pshat in this? Well, why is this called shofchei damim? Let's say they would have sent him off without food and without levoya. Why would they be called shofchei damim? So some want to say that if you would have fed him and you would have escorted him, then he would feel very good about himself and walk out and be self-confident, and therefore he would have been saved. But it's a little bit difficult because you have these rapacious highwaymen, and they see a person walking and they want to rob him and they want to take away his money, and he's walking proudly and confidently. They're not going to attack him. They have weapons, and maybe there's a number of them. Why are they going to run off? He has money. Why don't they go? So it's a little bit difficult. Okay. So I want to bring your attention to a Gemara in Yuma, which is really a very difficult Gemara. Gemara says like this. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Shaul, and Shmuel said, Amalei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shaul through Shmuel, Leich v'kisos Amalek. Go destroy Amalek, smite Amalek. Amar, so he said, Ma nefesh achas, Amar Torah, have eglah arufah. For one person you find him dead, you have to bring an eglah arufah. Kol ha-nefashos halalu alachas kama v'kama. There's so many people in all these Amaleki cities. Kolshkein, that is something that you shouldn't do. Vim adam chata, a person was chayta, behema machata. So why should we destroy the behemoths? Vim gedolim chatu, ktanim machatu. Yotza baskel v'omer loy, al titzadik harbe. So what's the pshat in this? Shaul says in the passuk that he was the talmid, he was the best in Eretz Yisrael, shichmai lamala, and he was a tzaddik. He was a great man, a tzaddik. So the Rebbeinu Shalom told him to do it. So why is he coming? And he said, why isn't he obeying? He's coming with a kal v'chomer from eglah arufah. What do you bring kal v'chomer from eglah arufah? The Rebbeinu Shalom told you what to do. Why don't you do it? As the passuk says, Koimer Hashem, he told them, Ato leich v'kisos Amalek v'charamtem es kol asher loi v'leisachmu elav v'heimatom ish v'adishom oil v'adyonik v'shor v'adsem v'gomel v'adchamor. So it's very clear. So what is he saying? He's saying he's making a kal v'chomer for eglah arufah. What is he doing? And what does the Baskal say? Al titzadik harbe. What did not titzadik harbe? Al ti'avarian. The Rebbeinu Shalom told you that you should do it, and you're being over the tzivui Hashem. Al titzadik harbe. And really, Shaul told him also such a lashon. Shmuel. You have to know what Shmuel means here. Vayom Shmuel haloim kotnat beinecha roiv shiftei Yisrael ata. What is he saying? Kotnat beinecha. This is kotnat beinecha, that he's. What is he saying? What's the katnas here? So, I'd like to suggest a pshat that the mitzvah of eglah arufah is pshat. That the idea of eglah arufah is that you should be machshiv, that every single person is tremendously chashiv. You have to care about every single person. You can't say, okay, there's somebody I don't know, what does that have to do with us? So you don't care about this person. You're not machshiv his existence, his being in the world. You're not machshiv it. So over here, you have a person that died. And you don't know who he is. So the Zakanim have to say that this person that's died, and apparently if he came from our city, he says, we didn't see him, and we didn't fail to feed him or to be malava him. If he would have been here, we would have done that. And if he wouldn't have done that, that's like shvichas domim. That means you don't count him. He doesn't mean anything. He's not important. No, we would have been here, we would have done it, because every single person, no matter what, is very, very chashuv. That is the idea of the mitzvah of eglah arufah, to make a public display with the whole ritual, and to show that you have to care about every single person. Yeah, the person died, and okay, so okay, a person died. We didn't do anything. We didn't kill him. We don't know. He was on the road. There were robbers. They killed him. It's not terrible, but do you feel the tragedy of it? Do you feel how terrible it is that a person's life was lost? This is what the eglah arufah has to do. That this person, he's out there, we don't know him, but we appreciate how chashuv that person is, even though we don't know him. And if we had seen him, we undoubtedly would have fed him, and we undoubtedly would have escorted him out of the city, because every single person is very chashuv. So now, Shaul was saying like this: the mitzvah of killing Amalek is to take away all the chemla that you have in your heart, any kind of sympathy, anything you feel in your heart for these people. You have to take it out, and you have to see them as snakes and scorpions, and they have to be killed without any kind of compunction. Otherwise, if you feel any kind of sympathy for them, if you see them as not as snakes and scorpions, and you go and you kill them, then that would be achzorius. The Rebbeinu Shalom is not asking you to be an achzor. The Rebbeinu Shalom is saying that these are your mortal enemies. You should not feel any kind of compassion for them, and then you should go kill them. So Shaul was saying like this: eglah arufah is telling you you have to feel compassion, you have to care about every single person. And in order to be Mekayim Amalek, also he says, Shaul, he said to him, V'gama kimoisi, what does he say? Shaul said to him, he says, V'gama kimoisi, one second. Okay, I don't see it right now. He said, Gama kimoisi is Dvar Hashem. He said he was Mekayim Dvar Hashem. How was he Mekayim Dvar Hashem? He was not. No, the pshat is that he learned up from eglah arufah that you have to care about every single person, and therefore he had to be oiker the chamla from his heart, the compassion from his heart, in order he should be able to Mekayim the mitzvah, that it should be done without arzorias. It should be done mitzvah, just l'shem mitzvah. So he says, okay, I understand that the people, they are warriors, they are our enemies, they threaten us, so maybe I could be oiker the chemel of my heart, and I could destroy them without being an achzor. But the behemoths, what did they do? The people of those times, agrarian society, they really cared about the land. It says in Mitzrayim, that the land is going to be suffer, and the behemoths are going to suffer. They cared about them. So, and what did they do? So, okay, fine. I was able to be oiker that chemla. Also, I could do that. But what's with the katanim, the children? What are the children? How can it be oiker for me, the chemla for the children? Okay, I can be oiker the chemla for the children. But when it came to Agag, Agag is a king, and people have a certain care about a king. Regicide is considered a tremendous aveira, because you kill a king. How do you kill a king? You can't do such a thing. A person can't bring himself to do such a thing. There's a certain chamla that people have on a king. How could you kill a king? So that's something that he couldn't do. So he's saying that Taka had a mitzvah, but to be Mekayim the mitzvah, I had to not care about them. And the eglah arufah tells me that I have to care about every single person. So I have to be oiker that chemla for me in order to kill them. I did as much as I could. Akimoisi is Dvar Hashem. I did as much as I could. I would not be able to Mekayim the mitzvah shleimus if I still had chemla in my heart and I was an achzor. So this is what the Baskel said. Alti tzaddik harbe. Zainish, as the girl said, tzaddik. Don't worry about the little bit of chemla in your heart. Alti tzaddik harbe. And that's what Shmuel told him. Halayim kotnat beinecha. If you think that you cannot be mekayim the mitzvah because when it comes to killing a king, you still have a little bit of chemla, you can't do it. Alti kotn beinecha. Rosh Shifti Yisrael. You are the king. You have a responsibility. So do it and don't worry about that little bit of chemla. Alti tzaddik harbe. And you find also, I think, that when Shmuel killed, yes, it says like this. So then it says, bring me Agag. And he said, Vayomer Shmuel, and Shmuel said to Agag, Kasher shiklo noshem charbecha, kei tishkal minoshem imecha, and Vayishasev Shmuel Agag, and he killed him. So why is he telling him this? Why is he telling Agag that kasha shiklo, that what you did, so that you're going to suffer the same fate? What does he have to give him a drasha for? You have Agag, you have a mitzvah to kill him, kill him. So it could be it's also the same minion, that Shmuel also felt that chemla, and to be oiked that chemla from his heart, he said, look what horrible things you did, what atrocities you did, and therefore this will be done to you, and you deserve it, and you don't deserve any compassion. And then he was able to kill him. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next week.